We call it multiple dimensions. And this kind of model, many people like, but many people don't understand what they are doing. Okay. Now you need to listen carefully. Yeah. Okay. This is a model in Malaysia we call it second order. But the correct term is not second order. The correct term is called hierarchical component. Okay. Because it can go second order, can go third order, can go fourth order. That's why it's called hierarchical component. Yeah, like this one. You see here. This is the first order. Yeah. This is the second order. This is the third order. Okay. If you see from here to here, there is no hypothesis. Only hypothesis here and here. Can you see? Yeah. This is measurement. This is measurement. So we need to understand our measurement first before we can start developing the model. Okay. Usually, when you draw your model, you should not show this. Because if you show this, many of the examiners will ask you where is the hypothesis. You have arrow, right? Yeah, can you see the arrow? Yeah. They will ask, how come here got arrow? Hypothesis, here no hypothesis. Huh? And this is the problem with examiners also. Okay. So the model is only from here. Yeah. This is the variable I'm interested in. To measure this variable, I have 3-dimension second order and another 9-dimension here first order. Okay. Items are here. And this item is here. Okay. That's why we call them third order. Okay. Usually models are like this one. So when you do second order, you are interested in this variable, right? Second order. But we measure them with dimension. And this dimension are measured with item. Here concrete, right? Here very concrete, right? Because you measure them with item. So you move from here to here, it becomes slightly more abstract. Yeah. Now you move from here to here, it becomes much more abstract. One of the question I will ask is, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Huh? So, like this, huh? I have a model like this with this commitment. Commitment measured by 3 dimensions, right? And I have OCD here. So, in this model, how many hypotheses will I make? One, right? Okay. Let's say I do model like this. How many hypotheses? 3. Not the same, right? Not the same hypothesis, not the same literature. Okay. It's not the same literature, not the same hypothesis. Huh? Okay. So if I do this, I'm only interested in commitment. Huh? I'm not interested in this. But there are also some supervisors, right? They have hypotheses from here to here. I should be the examiner. Huh? No arrow, right? Do you have arrow? Where did the hypothesis come from? You're not testing, right? You're only testing from here to here. There's no arrow from there. So you have one research question, one research objective, one research hypothesis. If you want to test directly, you test like this. 3 research questions, 3 research objectives, 3 research hypotheses. Not the same. Result will be different. No? So you cannot do both in the same model. You can only do one. No? Which one you are interested in. So you need to decide, okay, from the start. Okay? Then only we start developing the model. Okay? Any question on this is a big problem I see. Yeah? They have hypothesis for this, right? And then they have hypothesis 1A from there, 1B, 1C. Yeah? Where is the arrow? Hello? No arrow. Here only, yeah? So here only. Your literature is also not the same. It depends on your research question. If you have the research question, do directly. If not, you do second order. Why we do second order is given by hand. Yeah? Very easy. This is a classification to make your model less complex. Okay, can you understand? Yes. One sentence only, right? Okay. What is trying to say is like this. Yeah? Let's say I draw a model like this. How many hypotheses?
3, 4, 5, 6.
3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times 2 is 18. No? Do you have a calculator, right? I can do. 18 hypotheses. Okay, 18 hypotheses. Let's say this variable, I do them as second order. They become like this. How many hypotheses? 6 hypotheses. 6 hypotheses. M1, M2, M3 is the dimension for this. Okay, so 3 here, 3 here. So from 18 hypotheses, I reduce to 6 by doing one variable second order. This is what is meaning, that parsimony. Model becomes simpler. Okay, that's why we are doing second order. And most of the time you do second order at the mediator of the dependent variable. Because your model will be the most here, then becomes small. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, so when we do second order model, we have different types of model. Can you see here? We have type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Previously, we only do number 1. Everybody was doing number 1, but more and more people are moving to number 2. Reflective formative. Okay? This is reflective. This is reflective formative. Okay? So these are some of the changes. So in the literature now, we have type 1, which is reflective, type 2, which is reflective formative, type 3, formative reflective, and type 4, formative. So in the literature, you will see a lot of this one. Previously, it was like this. Okay. Now, many literature is changing like this. Reflective formative. Okay. So if you have a second order variable, you may want to read it. Whether you are doing this. Okay. One of the problem with this software is you have a red color, right? Why is it red? Already connected. This is already connected. Okay. But still red. Why? No item. Okay. Variable must have at least one item in SmartPLS, or else the color will be red. Okay. So this is where they came up with a workaround called repeated indicator approach. This is Jan Bernlow model. So he and Herman Watts, they came up with this repeated indicator approach. What it means is you take this item, you repeat it 3 times. This is the workaround for the software. Okay. So once you repeat the item, now no more red, right? The software will run. But the problem with this method is you are measuring this variable not with this 9 item. Yeah. You're not measuring this variable with 9 item. You are measuring with 3 dimension. 3 dimension, remember? So the calculation you have to do manually. Because the software will give you this. The average of this 9 item, they will give you as ADE. The average of this 9 item, they will give you CR. But this is not what they are doing. You are measuring with 3 dimensions. This one they will not give. That's why we need to do manual calculation for second order. Okay. If you are doing this way, reflective formative, they will still give you ADE. Yeah? But formative variable, no ADE, right? Formative variable cannot have ADE because they are not correlated. But because we repeated the 9 item here, remember? They think you are measuring this with 9 items. That's why they are giving you ABCR. So for this, it is you don't have to interpret the number for formative. Number 3 and number 4 very seldom people do. So 1 and 2 only. Okay. So now we have a new approach called two-stage approach. For those who are planning to do a second order, you should think about this approach. This two-stage approach, we have several variations. Okay, number 1 is like this. We have this 10 item here, measuring service quality, we put it here. This is your first stage. So when you run this analysis, you will get a score here, you get a score here, you get a score here. In the second stage, the score become item. So when you test your model, they become like this. In the first stage, they have item, but you can save the latent variable score. But this one also is only suitable if you have 3 items, 3 items, 3 items. The items are not the same, you cannot be doing this method. Okay. They recommend another method called disjoint two-stage approach. So we don't have the second order here, right? Remember quality? Yeah. Just now we had quality, remember? Now we are not using, we throw it away, but we run directly. We save the score. In the second stage, they become it. That is called a joint two-stage approach. This is the one recommended now for those who are planning to do two-stage or second one. Okay, second one. Huh? Okay. We also have this model called hybrid model. This one nobody uses, but unfortunately still they show it this way. Okay, here for 4 items, 8 items. Yeah? 4, 4, 8. No? We keep 2 items here, we remove 2 items here. 12 and 14. 11, 12, 13, 14. Right? You see that? 12 and 14. We keep 11 and 11 and 13 here. 12 and 14 we remove here. These 2 items we keep here, 2 items we remove here. 4 items we keep here, 4 items we remove here. One of the issue with this is which item to keep on the left, which item to move on the right. That's one of the questions. That's why nobody uses this, although it is in the literature. Okay. Recently we had another one. Called extended repeater indicator approach. One of the author is Jackie, right? So I actually wrote an email to him. This is the hopeless method. But his reply was, we got it published by the way. Okay. This is the second order. Can you see the second order? The item here, the item here. 3 items there, 3 items here, right? So here, form 1, 2, 3. Form 1, 2, 3. Likability 1, 2, 3. So they are actually not showing all, but it's actually 6 items here. We will run this model, the embedded one, right? So instead of this, what they're saying is, this 4 dimension, this 4 independent variable, you will also point it here. This one also you will point it here. That's why it's called extended repeater indicator. Okay? So you will look like this. Okay? Then what you do is take the score. In the second stage, they become item. These 2 dimensions become item. Okay? So these are the ways that is done in the literature. But this one, the change in the R square, you see here, 734, right? R square becomes 736. 306 is 306. 565 is still 564. No change, right? So why are you making your life difficult, right? Okay. So this is not a good strategy. So the recommended one is for the disjoint two-stage for those who have second order. Okay. Disjoint two-stage. Okay. So one of the problems with second order is when we do this, many people assess the first order here. They don't assess the second order. Here is reflective, remember? If it's reflective, you still have to assess the validity, reliability of the second order. So you need to run validity, reliability of the first order. You need to run validity, reliability of the second order. Many PhD students don't do that. They only do the first order. The software gives you everything, right? Second order, you need to calculate manually. Even if they calculate, they take directly from here, which is incorrect. Remember? They take all the 10 items to it. Okay? Should not be that. Okay, and then third one is writing hypothesis. If you do models like this, your hypothesis should be only one. Right? Cannot write hypothesis here. You're not going to test, remember? From here to here. Don't have hypothesis. Only from here to here. One hypothesis only. Okay. So many people do that. They write this, and then they have another 3 here. Not correct. Cannot do that, because you are now accepting them as second order. Just test the one hypothesis. Finish. Okay.
So assuming that you want to test the relationship between service quality and satisfaction, how do you test it? Separate one?
Listen. You draw like this.
No, no, you just want to test that dimension.
Then you throw it.
So you have to run twice. One is horizontal.
You decide. You want to test which one? You want to test overall or you want to test individual?
No, it's not going to. If they want in their hypothesis that like they are going to test that 3 dimension, which one is carrying more weight?
No, this one cannot. Carrying more weight means you must run directly. You run directly, then you see which beta value is stronger, weaker. So that's why you need to start with the research question. What you want to do. Okay. Here we are only interested in what is the effect of quality on satisfaction. So we test only this part. This one is the measurement part. Okay. But if I want to know which one is more important in predicting satisfaction, I cannot have this. Then I can say which one is more important, less important. Then you have to run directly the hypothesis. So this is a choice you have. Which one you want to do is based on your research question. Remember research question? Okay. So that's how the modeling follows your research question. Okay. In my department, every arrow we put a research question. Okay. The research question will become research objective. So 3 research question, 3 research objective. 6.
On the conceptual models, sir.
No, in chapter 1.
In chapter 1.
In chapter 1, in chapter 1, we have research question, research objective, right? If you have 6 research questions, you have 6 research objectives, you have 6 research hypotheses.
And then, and the matching be changed. So it's 3, 2, 3. Or...
No, cannot. They go together. Sometimes what they do is they group the research objective together. I want to study the 4 independent variables as predictor. That can be done. But research question, I like to see individual because that will translate into hypothesis. And in your chapter 5, you must answer all your research questions. Okay?
Some argument all to be the same, but the hypothesis is more than argument. Can be
If you group them, okay. If you group them, maybe can. But the hypothesis must be individual. There are also people who write 3 hypotheses in one.
So in what you just said, assuming there are 3 RQ, can I group this into 1 RO and then hypothesis are 3 hypotheses?
Okay, but in my department, we follow same. Our research question become research objective become hypothesis. Same. We have the same number, so it's easy to match. But you can group your objective together. A few of your variables you group as one. Independent to dependent, you group as one. Then mediator to dependent, one more. Okay, that can be done, but hypothesis will follow your model, your research model. Okay, so if in a model like this, I have only 1 research question, 1 research objective. If I take this out, I have 3. So you have to decide which one you want to do. Okay. This part here we don't draw in chapter 2. Chapter 2 we only draw this to this. This one comes in chapter 3. The measurement. Okay. Measurement I have 3 dimensions. What are the items? Chapter 3. Not chapter 3. Right? Okay. So these are some examples of variables which were previously reflective. Now they are doing formative. You see here? You have 5 dimensions to measure this variable. 1 hypothesis over here. From here and here. Here we have 2 dimensions, right? Beta was asking, right? You see? This is second order, beta. But I can also put them 2 here. Then they become individual variable. No more dimension. Here is dimension. This is called dimension. If you put them here, they become variables. 2 different variables. 2 hypotheses. Here we have only 1 because we have an overall specific variable control. So we can do that. So that's why we need to understand the drawing. So they have this, you see this second order? The dotted line, these are the dimensions of this variable. Those 5 are dimensions of the variable. Most of my students, if they do second order, this one will be very dark light. Okay, to show that this is actually second order. This one will be very dark, so that we know this is second order. Okay? And this is another one in HROB studies called justice, right? We have distributive justice, procedural justice, and informational justice. They are actually forming the variable called justice. Because sometimes you think this is okay, but these 2 very low. Okay? That's why we do them formative. Okay. When you do your second order model, you must first have literature saying that they can be combined. Okay, if not, don't do. Okay, like this. This was the DBA thesis from UKM. And they appointed me as the external examiner. I don't know for some reason. After that, they didn't call me. Sometime. So I got this thesis, and the second day I wrote a report and sent back. Major correction, and then do the correction. But the internal examiner actually insisted on a revival. If I was younger, I would insist on revival. As I grew older, I become more compassionate. No? Okay. When I was younger, I was very feared. They were telling me, my students tell me, Prof, you are very nice now. Huh? Those days when we were students, we were very scared to even look at your face. But when I grow older, I said, I don't want to travel so much. For revival, I have to go back to UKM to sit in the presentation. And so I said, do correction. Huh? What she has done is this. She has a variable called critical success factor. These are the 4 dimensions. Okay? She did reflective formatting. So hypothesis 1 here, hypothesis 2 here. Okay, here she has government support, 2 types of hospital, government hospital and private hospital. So government hospital, more support, private hospital, less support. Okay, want to see whether it changes. Huh? So what is wrong with this model? Okay, this variable called critical success factor is not a variable. Not a variable. They are actually here.
The dimension.
No, these are the factors. We don't have a variable in the literature called critical success factor.
Okay.
When you write your literature in chapter number 2, you write, I have this critical success factor, factor 1, 2, 3, 4. They are not dimensions. They are separate variables.
If this is the case, so that means that the TOE variable is so all those variables, let's say they label under technology, they are not dimension also, right? It's just like
No. Okay. Next one we'll see. So this one, they actually form independent variable, not dimension. So the literature is from here to here. Correct?
I think.
So don't have this literature. From here to here, don't have literature at all. Okay. So this is the problem with this second order model. Okay. I always tell my student like this. As a supervisor, you have to ask your student. Okay. If you have a variable, your variable must have at least 2 levels or more. Okay. Okay. Male, female, is it a variable?
Yes.
Yes means cannot be checked. Okay. Male, female is not a variable. The variable is gender.
I think.
I understand? I have to teach undergraduate, so I have to teach like that. And my China students also tell them. No? I tell them. No? Male, female variable. Yes. You cannot change your sex. Then you go for operation, right? Okay. So the variable is gender. We have 2 options, male and female. So that's why we call them a variables. Okay. Now you have a variable called top management support, right? If the score is high, what is your meaning? If the score is high means what? Good support. Low means no support. Okay? Same with this one. More training, less training. It makes meaning, right? Okay, now I look at this variable. If the score is high means what? No meaning, right? But the software will happily run and give you some numbers. But the software doesn't know theory, remember? It only works on your modeling. Okay? So although the software runs, she got the result, she wrote everything. And I was like, don't know what to say. Okay. 2 supervisors who have PhD, maybe associate professor or professor. A chairman is a full professor in public university. And then already passed proposal, and already collected data, now submitting for Viva. And the model is totally wrong, right? The worst part is this is a staff of that department. To me, don't know what to say. So this happened. So this is something you need to understand. As a researcher, before you draw the variable, you must have literature saying this is actually a variable. Second order, we have many of them in our literature, right? Marker orientation, entrepreneur orientation, commitment, satisfaction, but many variables. So we already have literature saying they can be combined. Then only you can combine. If not, you cannot. Right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. Yasmin's lecture is this one. This is another problem I see. But there are published papers like this. We have a variable called technological characteristics, organizational characteristics, and environmental characteristics. They got 3 dimensions here, 3 dimensions here, 3 dimensions. Okay. Then they have only 3 hypotheses, and you get hypothesis X. What will you write in your recommendation? What will you write in your recommendation? This is the biggest number, right? And then you tell the manager, you have to focus on technological characteristics. Yeah? And then if I'm the manager, I'll tell you are joking. Yeah? You're not telling me anything, right? You're not telling me anything. Okay? Technological characteristic is not a variable. The variable is 1, 2, 3. And this one is negative. This two is positive. And you combine them together, then you get what I also don't know. But the software doesn't understand that. The software will run and give you some beta value. This is the problem with the software. Okay? So you need to draw that. So here we will have 3 arrows going direct, 3 arrows going direct, and 3 arrows going direct. When you are writing your literature, you group them under technological characteristics. 1, 2, 3. Organizational characteristics 1, 2, 3. They are not one variable. They are not one variable. This is the other problem I see with many students. Grouping. Okay. They want to make the model simpler. Okay? But it doesn't make sense. You must have literature, remember? We don't have the literature. Okay, this is the second. Okay, then I do this a lot every day. Yeah? From morning until middle of the night. Many people message me on the Facebook Messenger. Okay? And then they ask me a question. This was a message I got middle of the night, 12:30 in the morning. And then this is his research model. Here's a variable called marketing mix with dimension. Okay? And then there's items here, right? Repeated indicator. So marketing mix leads to healthy lifestyle and consumption pattern. So by looking at the model, what do you think is not correct? The items are not equal. Okay. First is this item not equal, right? Here got less item, here got more item. Okay. Something else. Okay, what is missing? What is
I think
missing?
it's marketing mix. Marketing mix comprised of the 4 P's and the 7 P's, right? So
4P. This one is 4P, right?
P's and 7 depending on
What is
business
missing?
marketing or marketing.
What is the P?
Product price, place.
Price is missing. Price is missing. Price is missing. Okay. He deleted price from marketing mix. Okay. PhD, yeah. And this is my discussion with him. His question is if I can justify according to my item to use my maximum model effect. So his question is I deleted one dimension. Do you understand? Because I interact English like that. So I understand what is the question. So I deleted a dimension because reflective. Okay. And then my answer is your justification is for the first order, not second order. First order you can delete dimension item, cannot delete dimension. Okay. And then he said right. And then I was a bit irritated already, right? So I wrote this quickly. Can you delete say price from the maximum marketing mix? I forgot something in the sentence. What did I forget? Question mark, right? I forgot question mark. Yeah. And then he answered, okay. My question is, can you delete? He said, okay. This is live interact. I didn't add it. Then I said, can you with a question mark? Okay. Now he's forced to answer, right? And then his answer is like this. Price is removed. This is my automatic reply. You must be joking. And that's why many people don't like me. They say I'm very sarcastic. I'm entitled to be sarcastic. This is at the PhD level. Hello. And you delete price for marketing mix.
Yeah, you asked him to do it. He thought like, no.
See,
He said, and you become the price.
right? Don't have price.
Oh, then, okay, lah.
Okay? You don't have price. I usually don't answer them directly. I ask some questions. So then you start thinking.
Is that no price? PR1, PR2?
No, he deleted here. But he didn't delete item here.
Oh, I see.
See the contract here had item, right? He deleted the whole contract, but the item retained here. Forgot to delete. Forgot to delete. So that's why I'm asking him. So when I look, I already know the answer, but I'm asking him. So I asked him whether you can delete. If you can. And I said, you must be joking. And then he said this. I'm in the learning phase. What's wrong in my action? You're going to get a PhD in marketing. That's all. I find this quite strange. When you get a PhD in marketing, you delete price from the marketing list. Everything is price, and price, right? Okay, so I asked him this question, right? And now he gave me a different model. Huh? And now something is back, right? What is that? Price is back. Huh? Now you change the arrow. Can you see the arrow change? It became formative. See the arrow? Okay. That's now he did reflective, right? This loading was low, less than 0.5. So he deleted the loading less than 0.5. Now you change this way, right? These are called weights. Weights means which are more important, less important. Okay? So in this model, the most important is price, promotion. Second most important is price, right? He deleted. Then he has an ABE here. Can you see this ABE? I say ABE is read, huh? And then I said for formative, there should not be ABE. Why they got ABE? Because they take this item and repeat it here. So the software is thinking you're measuring this variable with the item. That's why he calculated the ABE. So this model cannot. They should not give you the ABE. If you do this second stage, this will not be shown. That's why we need to understand this. Huh? Okay. Then we have another discussion like this. Huh? This is even worse. Okay. This person is saying I have a job performance, 2 dimension, task performance, contextual performance. Huh? And then her question is like this. All the PhD that I found using SPSS to analyze, some person also delete 2 or 1 dimension from 8 dimensions of job performance. Huh? Happily telling me all passed already. All the seniors passed already. Okay. Deleting 2 and 1 dimension from the model. Huh? And then my question was, does it make sense to delete dimension? Huh? And then the answer is, I don't know. When you want to know, finish your PhD, you become postdoc for 5 years. Later you decide. There's a term called content validity, remember? Content validity is, are you measuring the entire domain? If you have 4 dimensions, all 4 must be there. Cannot delete. Item can delete, dimension cannot delete. This is, she's saying, everybody passed already. Maybe they are also just also. Can you see? I'm quite worried for this kind of situation. She said people have passed PhD by deleting dimension of a variable. It doesn't make sense, right? Okay. So these are problems I see a lot. No? Okay. Please don't do this. That's why we need to understand content validity. Okay. I teach this at my undergraduate class. So I have to make them understand what is content validity. So see whether you understand. Okay, let's say I have a variable called job satisfaction, right? Okay, what are the components of job satisfaction? Work-life balance, kita boleh tolak tepi lah. As long as the pay is good, okay. This is F11, okay? This is called the pay lah. Pay very high means okay. Work-life balance tak ada apa-apa. You adjust lah, because pay very high lah. Okay lah. So work-life balance is a different thing. What other things are components of job satisfaction?
Yeah, really.
Okay. We call it co-worker. Career development is promotion. And because this is very important in government. Because our salary is tied to the promotion. You don't get promoted, your salary will not go up. And that's the system. Private one, you have different, you can get increment more than the promotion. When I was younger, right? My increment was 60 ringgit a year. Okay? And then my wife used to laugh at me. First year she worked, she's 2 years my junior. And she started working, she worked in the factory. Her first increment is 600 ringgit. So she told me, 60 ringgit only. I got 600 ringgit, okay? I was like, yeah, see lah. Every year 60 ringgit only, yes. If I move to the next level, then it go to 120. Every year like that. No, not like you all can be more or less, right? We don't have. Okay. Because of the promotion. Next category. My wife was earning more than me at that time. I was working very long, right? So this is the third one. What other component? Okay, it's actually called work, the kind of work you do. What else?
Work and asking.
One more very important one. Your
Security,
security.
environment,
This one, so these are the 5 dimensions of job satisfaction. This was developed in 1969. The author's name is Hulin et al. Until today, it's still the same. The rest all will go into one of them. Okay? So all these 5 must be balanced. Okay? Some people pay for certain factors, remember? Some people stay for certain factors, not because of the pay. Like now, my pay is 6,000 a month. So my wife asked me one question. Can you give me one reason why you don't want to move? I got an offer from IMU, 31,000. 1 month difference is 25,000. So she's asking me a question. Give me one reason why you don't want to move. So I don't know what to answer. But I have other things which are very good. I am a good PhD student. I get a lot of leave to travel. 30 days of, earlier I had 35 days a year leave. And then we have 2 months of research leave. And then we have 30 days of unrecorded leave. So every time I travel, it's unrecorded. So I don't have to take my leave for trips and all. Okay? So I have lots of leave. Okay? And I have a big office. I have a very big office.
Vicky what? Vicky what?
I'm VK7.
Vicky Sam.
I have a big office. And I have a screen which is 43 inches. And I have a table 6 feet. Table is 6 feet with the L table on. Okay? I have a printer which is like can do everything there. So I have a very nice office. And then I went to tailors. They offered me a job. I said, would you like to move? We can arrange. I said no, because tailors open office. Come and sit anywhere. Oh, sorry, darling. From the time I started, I have a room to myself. Even when I was a tutor, I have a room to myself. So I have a bigger room now. Now I go back and sit anywhere I want. I go on. So I'm not willing to move because of other things. And not because of salary. So we need to balance that. So this cannot be reflective. It cannot be reflective. It must be formative. Because maybe you are interested in this or this, right? And not all of them. So that's why it should be formative. Second order. If you are planning to do second order, think about this one. Okay? For those who are second order. Okay. Any questions on the second order? So before you do your second order, you must think about this, whether they are reflective, or reflective, formative. Most of the time now they are arguing is reflective, formative, not reflective. Okay. Okay. So we will use the same project to draw this model, so that we don't have to spend too much time drawing. Okay. We already have this model, right? Can you see this model? We already have it here. Now I want to add another variable here called quality with the 3 dimensions. Okay. Here got 3 items, 4 items. And this one I will show you how to draw. This is called a repeater indicator. So first, in the same model, we already have this model. Okay, this model. So what you do is, we do it this way. Can you press Control A? Yeah. Control A so that we can select all the variables, and then we move this variable this side of it, so that you have empty space on the left hand side. Okay. Move it to this side. Yeah. Okay. It is too big, you can zoom a bit, then you become small, right? Okay. Select this. Control A, then this amount. Yes, yeah.
To control time, and then moves to.
Moving to the right now. Okay, so now we have some space to draw, remember? Okay, that's the reason I do that. Okay. Okay. Control A. Then use the mouse. So what we want to do is, we have the 3 dimension of the service quality, right? Okay. These are the 3 dimensions. Information quality, system quality, and service quality, right? For 3 items, you drag and drop first, label it as information. Okay. And then system, service. Okay, I can have 1, 2, 3. This is called information. System is SYN. And we have service quality, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, information system and service, right? 3, 3, and 4. Okay, here we have the dimension, right? We need to create the second order. The second order, you select all the 10 items together. SQ. Okay, the other thing, we can do this, since I don't have much space, right? So what I did was like this, this variable, right? This is already very close to here. This one we already done just now, right? So what you do is you highlight all 3 together, hide. So that you don't see the item, blocking, like this, Okay, we can drag like this, okay? And then we can right click and hide the item, all 3 will be hidden. So now I have more space here for the drawings. Okay. You have to select all these 10 items together from here, drag and drop. Okay. So you have to use the button control. Okay. Like this, system, 1, 2, 3, right? Highlight first. Then press your control key. You can click info, information service quality. Okay, this one. Can you see the highlighted one? We need to highlight from here. And then we drag and drop 1 go. So we have 10 items repeated. Okay, these are the 10 items, right? Okay. And what we do is we hide now so that it doesn't overlap. Click here, hide.
How do you again select all the 10 items?
From here.
Yeah.
You have to use control.
Together.
You have to press the control. And then drag.
Or drag first one.
No, you can drag and drop first also can. Or you can drag all. Yes.
Then you select those.
There must be 10 items. Okay, you can also draw a circle and then drag and drop 3 items, 4 items, then you will drag and drop inside the circle. Yes, I'm not winning, no? I'm a little bit more, no? Okay, so I show you again, okay. If you don't want to select them all one go, we have latent variable. Can you see the latent variable? Okay, so when you click the latent variable, this one, and you click here, right? Latent variable. Okay, and you get quality, yeah? This is a variable with the item, right? Okay, so I already have this variable. So what we do is we go here. The first one is system, right? We select the 3 item system, we drag and drop inside. Okay? Inside the circle, okay? And then we go to the next one, INF 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes.
We can drag and put inside, they will add on. Don't drag and drop outside, then they will draw us. Okay? Okay, not a problem, no? Now I already have the 10. You can also do that. Huh? Okay, I hide this for a while. Huh? So now this is where we need to decide whether they are this way or this way. Okay? Jangan hari ni macam ni, besok macam ni, lusa macam ni. Ya? Itu reverse engineering. Ya? So we need to start with the understanding. Ya? Here we want to do this way. Okay? That means reflective. Huh? We draw like this. We connect here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So this is your second order variable in your model. Huh? Okay. This second order variable may be only pointed here, maybe here or here. Up to you. Your hypothesis. Remember your literature? If your literature says quality only influences usefulness, only one arrow. But here we want to draw 3. So you draw here, here, and here. Then only the color will change. Huh? If you don't connect, the color will not change. Huh? Like this. Huh? Okay, now you see the color change, right? So the model is working. Huh? So that's a drawing. Huh? Okay, I will finish drawing. Let's check the item dot size.
Enjoy.
No. This one. Information system and service. INF.
But this one I already clear, so how to track again?
Oh, that is not. That's the 3 items only. And 3 items are the same. Then highlight and delete.
This one's
Delete, nah? Okay. After you draw it, right?
But the arrow doesn't mess in.
Okay, so this is what we call as repeater indicator approach. Yeah?
For Part2, I have a rule for A. As a result of this, might come with.
No, because no, you have to add by
Like this here, I think.
Okay. Okay, so now we are going to have the model, right? When we run the algorithm, any item you need to delete. If we run calculate PLSM algorithm, any item you need to delete. This one we already finalized, remember? Earlier we already finalized, huh? Can you look at this side? Any item need to delete? Okay, we have SQ3 not so good, right? Okay. If you delete here, you must also remember to delete it here. The one we hidden here, remember? Okay. We delete here and here. Huh? So I will show over there like this, right click. We will show the item. Okay. So we have this SQ3 here. Can you see here? See that? We did this and also this. Then only balance. 9 here, 9 here. Left and right must be the same. Okay? This one. And this one. Okay. I'm finished running the model. Okay. Now no more item to delete, right? Okay. This variable, if you want to know the ABCR, you just point your mouse here, right? When you point your mouse here, you get the ABCR, right? This one and this one you can get already, huh? This variable, if you point your mouse here, you get some ABCR, right? Like this, huh? If you point your mouse here, you get ABE and PR, right? Can you see it? Okay. The ABE is 0.623, right? Yes, 623. Yeah. And then the CR row C is 937, huh? Okay. But the values given here, they are not correct. The values given here not correct, huh? Because we use this 9 items, we receive here, remember?
Yeah.
So they think the 9 items are measuring one variable. But you're not measuring this variable with 9 items, right? You're measuring this variable with 3 dimensions. Okay? So I write down the number for you, huh? If you do this kind of analysis, this is where you need to do manual calculations for the AB and the CR. The software will not help you. Okay? The software will not help you, huh? So this is where we need to calculate with the Excel. Yeah, Jasmine. This one, can you see here?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. These are the loading. So we have 3 dimensions, right? These are the 3 loading. We can calculate our ABCR using these 3 loading. These 3 items, right? Okay. So if you go to your folder, I've given you this Excel template, right? This one. You see this ABCR calculator? This one? Okay. Open first, huh? Okay. When you open this ABCR calculator, they give you these 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, 5 items, 6 items, 7 items, right? This is depending on your variable you have. Okay. We have how many dimensions? 3. 3 dimension, right? So we will go to the 3 item tab. Because loading got 3 only. Okay, the same lah. Huh? Item means unidimensional item, multi-dimensional dimension. Okay. So we will go to the 3 item tab. Then we key in the loading based on the 3 items. they will calculate AVCR automatically for you. Okay? Can you try it? Masukkan the number. This number, huh?
I have how to type something.
Right click. Click the. No, right click. Okay, what did you get? Okay, this is the template, right? You need to key in the number you get from your loading. Okay, the software will calculate for you automatically. Okay, so these are the numbers. Can you see the numbers here? 0.926, huh? And then 0.873, yeah? 873 and 0.852, huh? Okay, so you can see now the AB is different, right?
Yes.
0.734 and 0.916, huh? And this is the correct one. Tiga item, bukan yang dua tadi. Tiga item ya. The technique. Jadi, if you have 7 dimension, you use 7. And ours is only 3 dimension, right? So we put it in. So if you have a paper on your own, you can take the loading, put into this calculator, you get the exact number. I always check that. When I review papers, I do this. When I'm suspicious of their numbers. Their loadings are not very good, but the AV is 0.5 and above. Doesn't make sense. So I just copy and paste and I can get the number. Okay, so this is how you calculate. You can take any paper, take the loading, put it inside, you get the same number. We already tested this, okay?
So what was the actual reading here?
Yeah, 784.
74.
This is your, just now you got from the drawing, right?
Yeah.
They take the average of the 9 items. But you have 3 dimensions, remember? That's why we need to calculate, okay? But if you don't want to calculate, now I show you another method, where the software will calculate for you. We call them 2-stage. Okay, 2-stage. This is the embedded one. Okay. Okay. So now I show you how to do the 2-stage. Okay, first, before we do anything, after you run this model, in our data we have item, remember? In our data we have item, we don't have latent variable score. The score of the variable, right? So what you do is open the full report. Open the full report. Okay, there's an icon where this one, when you click open report, we see there's an icon called create data file. Create data file. Click that. They give you a dialog box, right? Okay. They give you a dialog box and they tell you what? They tell you what you want to set. Okay. So first, this manifest variable is your original item. The original item, right? Question 1, question 2, question 3. But they have also another button here called latent variable score. This one they will calculate for you. And the name here automatically is this one. Okay. We can change. So I do this. I usually use second stage. So that you remember what you did. So if you click the create, what will happen is they will create another data file. Okay? Your original data file is still there. Now they will create a data file with the latent variable score in the file. Okay? Just try and see. Create. Right? Create. They will say I created a data file, right? But you don't see any change here. Click here. And see the data file? Already saved for you, right? Okay, if you come back here, you are still using the old data set. Can you see that? This is your old data set. Your new data set is second stage, right? Can you click on the data set they give you another file.
Too fast.
Original is this one. They give you another file, right? You pick that one. No? Now you get another data set. Correct? Yeah. Okay. When you click here, you see the original data set. You have the second stage, right? Okay. If you pick the second stage, now the data set will change. Yeah? You see latent variables scores coming out here. This one, this is the new development. Previously, we need to save the latent variable score, redraw, attach the file, and then rerun. But now you don't have to. Now we can actually run directly from here. Okay. So the original drawing already there, right? Now I want to do a new drawing. How we can do that is like this. So this is your data file. We click the back. Okay, here we have the PLS one, right? Can you see the PLS one? This is the original drawing just now we saved. Okay, so what you do is you click on this variable. Okay, your original is this. Can you see? With all the second order. Okay, but we don't want this one. So I don't want to edit this. I still want to keep this. I want to create a new file. Don't need to redraw. So I show you how to duplicate. Okay. Now right click. You have duplicate, right? Okay. And then they give you a name. You can change it to number 2, model number 2. Now they will create the exact drawing in another file. Okay. Next. Duplicate,
You said the same as already.
Yeah, because it's put number 1, right? Put number 2. Huh? Okay, so I changed it to number 2, right? Because I will have the same drawing. With number 1 cannot, because already said like number 1. So we have to have a new file. Okay. After we click the save, right?
This one is one.
Okay. We get the exact same drawing. Exact same drawing, right? Okay. But here now we change the data set. Right? Can you see the data set? Can you see the name?
Yeah.
No more the original data set, right? Okay. So what we do is this variable, This variable, this variable, this variable, this variable, you delete that. Delete that, huh? Delete all four, huh? Delete that. Okay, finish. You can save the first subject. Okay, we deleted the first orders, right? Did you delete? Okay, done, Okay. Okay, after you delete the first order, right? If you scroll down here, you see LD scores. Can you see? Okay. You have three dimensions, right? Information quality, system quality, and service quality. They become item now. Okay, the dimension become item. You need to select these three items. LV. This one, This one? This one and this. Okay, have it, press the control, click the information, click the service, and click the system. See? 1, 2, 3, right? And then you drag and drop. Drag and drop. Okay, or else you draw circle first, drag and drop one by one is okay. Yeah. Let's say a minute.
From Evan Global Community. Select all the LV scores.
Okay, yeah. LV score information, LV score service, LV score systems. Tiga item, kan? So by the move quality of quality. Buang dulu, listen dulu. Okay, now you have your item, right? Okay, now you connect these three items, this variable to the rest. Now the software will calculate ABCR automatically. Buang dulu, buang dulu. All three items together. All three items together. Oh, what's that? This one will Yes. No. Information is not answered. Only the three, that's quality.
Technology is LV quality.
Yeah, LV score there. Information, service, and system.
The quality, the great one.
No, you have to drag and drop, then you name it lah. When you drag and drop, they give you LV, right? Then you change, whatever you want. This is quality. And now when you draw the model, you have to use automation. Oh no, because of your one side. So now you accept the resolution. Control Okay, now after you got it, you don't have to do manual exercise. You just find your mouse to the available. We need to connect first, some. Okay, now you get the name, same number, right? 24. Same number. Okay, so you don't have to calculate manually, you do 50. The software calculate. Okay? So now the software calculates for you. You have to run the algorithm. You have to run the algorithm. Okay? Run the algorithm. The point is, okay, now you see the ABCR, right? Yeah? You do that? You have to connect first.
I got some experience. That's the zero point five login. That's the 0.5. Maybe I did it. Once again. Because you did the time already.
That's why the
Okay, so the software is very, very easy now. They can actually save the data file and then if you deleted the item in the first stage, second stage dia tak ada lah. Sebab the item dalam model saja yang dia save in the second one. Okay? That's why we need to be clear. So here now, here, you point the mouse here, you get the same ABCR we calculated just now manually. Okay? Tadi kita dapat 784 kan? So if you want to change, okay, for second order, we can do formative reflective, right? If you have to change them to formative, you need to click on the circle, right click, invert. Right click, invert. Then the arrow will become this way. And then it becomes formative. Right click, you right click, invert. Can you see the invert measurement model? Okay, so invert measurement model, they become formative. Okay, now if you point your mouse here, you won't get ABE, no CR. Because it's formative. Formative cannot calculate ABE, cannot calculate CR. Okay, right click, right click. Now you find the small. That's you can't die. You have formative. Formative, no ABE. Okay, that's what you do. Are you trying to masters? Okay, so when we change the arrow this way, right? The software will know it's formative.
Complexity is 1.5. I think it's salah. Enjoyment 0.301. Direct is supposed to get series. So I like to say this photo is sitting.
Okay, when you do second order, you need to from the start decide whether you want to do reflective or reflective formative. Cannot change NC. Yeah, some people do that lah.
So from the beginning, we
When you are writing your research proposal, it is reflective, you all the way reflective. Don't change halfway, become formative because your beloved supervisor suggested. It is not. Huh?
Below 0.5.
Okay, this one is called weight. Weight is not like your loading.
Oh.
This one, which one more important, less important? So in predicting quality, information quality is the most important, followed by system quality. Service quality is not important. You see? You can see this is called weight. Kalau macam ni tak boleh. Loading means you cannot say which one more important, less important. This way we can say which one is more important, less important. Okay? So that's why we need to understand what we are doing. Okay? So this is for second order. Any questions on the two stage? Okay, two stage is for those who have second order. It is always recommended to do the two stage. Then the software will give you all the values you need. Or else you have to do some manual calculation. Okay? Yeah. When you read the data, they're not reading the data, they are reading the text. No, you have to read the data. It's already text. Maybe in your Excel file, you read the Excel. You read Excel file, right? You check the Excel numbers. That's why I prefer SPSS. SPSS, dia tak ada masalah. They worry directly, yeah? Okay, so that is for second order. Huh? Okay, next we want to look at the model. We keep like this. Huh? How many of you have mediation? Mediation? Okay, good, huh? Good. Okay, we will see what happens. Huh? Oh, yeah. Mediator. Okay, very good, huh? Everybody loves mediation, huh? Because the easiest to do. No, easiest to do, huh? ABC, right? Okay. So when you draw the model, it looks like this, huh? We have an independent, mediator dependent, huh? Okay, so when I draw this model, 1, 2, 3, right? Is this a mediator? Is this a mediator?
Yes.
Yeah. I want magician. You like a magician, huh? Okay, when you look at the model, you say this one magician. Oh. Ini macam magic show, huh? Not true, huh? Not true. But unfortunately, many examiners also believe it to be true. So they will tell you the center variable is a mediator. Untrue. 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 Huh? Okay. First, we need to decide. We have three variables, right? Which variable is your focus? Which variable is your focus? Huh? If this is your focus variable, this becomes antecedent, this becomes outcome. So you have H1 here, H2 here, finish. Okay? But if your focus is on this variable, to explain this variable, I need this variable and this variable in a row, then only the center variable becomes the mediator. Okay? That's why we need to understand that. Okay? Okay, then you have a model like this. Yeah? I have a model called organizational commitment. And then my problem is organizational commitment. Huh? Why you want to study organizational commitment? Let's say you say your organizational commitment is the problem, right? Why you want to study organizational commitment? Huh? Efficiency, yeah? Betul lah? Efficiency, ya? Mana? Yeah, okay. Okay, dia punya problem dia adalah organizational commitment. But you didn't talk about commitment, right? Your research problem is commitment. Now you're talking about something else other than commitment. So this is where we have a problem with problem statement. You realize? Problem awak dekat sini, tapi awak cerita kat sini. These are outcomes. Your problem is here, right? So you want to know why in some sector the commitment is low, in some other sector the commitment is high. That's why we want to solve this problem. So your focus is on commitment. So when you write chapter number 1, is related to commitment. Is that? Chapter number 1, you write about commitment. Chapter number 2, you bring in here and here. Your literature will tell you what are the predictors of this, what it leads to. If you stop at organizational commitment, many examiners will ask, so what? No? Why do you need to focus on commitment? Because if commitment is good, it leads to performance. So that performance, you want to collect in your data also can. You don't want to collect, you have to link them theoretically. The literature says that is the reason why we want to study. Okay. Now I change the model. So if I want to study this as the variable, my theory must be related to this. Organizational commitment theory. Okay. So now I don't want to look at this. I want to look at performance. My variable is performance. Okay. So the theory will be related to this. Chapter 1 will be related to this, not this. This one. Okay. In chapter 2, only this and this comes up. Okay. So they're not the same. They are not the same. This is one of the misunderstanding many people have. 3 variables in a row, the center variable is a mediator. Not true. You can see this paper, right? There are a lot of mediator, right? Lots of mediator, right? But they never test a single mediation. And this is a paper published in a journal called MIS Quarterly, like one of the top journals in the world. No mediation. Tadi kan ABC mediator kan? Mana mediationnya? Tak ada. Not necessarily. If you want to test mediation, you need to develop the link and the hypothesis. Then only go and test. If not, no need to test. You only test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see here clearly, this is second order. Can you see second order? 3 dimension second order, 2 dimension second order. Okay, so we can draw like this. So we have 2 variables in the model, which is second order. Okay, so we can also draw them like this. So this is why we need to understand where is your focus. Here I want to explain this. I want to know what variable influence here, one variable influence here. I can do mediation here, right? I can do mediation here. I can do mediation here, but none of them were tested. None of them were tested. Okay, that depends on your research question and hypothesis. If you don't have research question and hypothesis, don't test the mediation. Okay? I see many people writing papers. At the end of the paper, they will have indirect effect, but they don't have hypothesis. Why are you testing? If you have hypothesis, then you need to test. If not, no need to test. Okay, so not necessarily center variable becomes a mediator. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, for mediation, this is a very good paper for you to read. By McKinnon. McKinnon is the same era as Barry and Kenny. This paper is really good. You must read this paper. But what the paper talks about is 2 things. One is when you are doing mediation, 2 things important. One is the design. Then the second one is the theory. The design is related to the way you collect data. For mediation, time 1, time 2, time 3. That is design. For mediation, you need to have a theory that shows you A leads to B, B leads to C. These are the 2 things needed for mediation analysis. Okay, so that's one thing you need to remember. So this is a guy everybody cites, right? Barry and Kenny. Okay. And their paper was rejected, no? Can you see? Reject, no? This one reject, right? This one also resubmit with major correction, no? Okay. 3 journals actually rejected the paper before they finally got the paper published. So the editor of the journals were alive, they will be cursing themselves because they lost 150,000 citations because they rejected the paper. Okay? So this is a concern. Huh? So when I met David Kenny in 2008, he was telling me, this is not the best paper I wrote. So he's telling me, you're citing the wrong paper. Okay? That's what happens when you see the author. He think, this is not the best paper I wrote. No? I have a better paper, Jude and Kenny, 1994. So he's saying you're citing the wrong paper. So I was like, oh, okay. But Malaysians all like this one. Everybody write Baran Kenny, yeah? So the author is saying, no, you should cite another paper. But he said, fortunately or unfortunately, this is the paper which is cited a lot. Okay, so this is the story of David Kenny, yeah? Okay, he was telling me, this paper got published because of this guy. His name is Ruben Barron. Huh? In the US, you need to publish in a top journal before you get tenure. Okay? In Malaysia, we are very lucky, right? We come in and then we retire. Whatever you do or don't do, also you retire in the same university or institution. Huh? There they do, you know? They give you 5 years. The 4th year, they will tell you, you don't have good publication, you need to plan to leave. The 5th year, they will ask you to leave. That's the system they have. Huh? So he was looking for publication, that's why he pushed the paper. Huh? Finally got a paper published there, he got his tenure. Okay? So what this paper tells you is mediation is a mechanism that links your independent variable to the dependent variable. So the idea is like middleman theory. You can go directly, but it takes a longer time. But the middleman can make the process faster. Okay? Especially for the China students, right? They have a agent. They submit directly to you. You take 3 months to process, right? And they submit to an agent 1 week only already. Letter of offer out of it. Yeah. Okay. That's the mediator lah. Okay, that's the mediator we call it. Huh? So that's how I explain to students. Okay, they can understand. Huh? So the mediator is the one that facilitates the link. Huh? So it is called the mechanism. So identifying the mechanism is a contribution by itself. Okay. So when you develop your model, this is a very interesting paper published in Journal of Marketing. Can you see the title? Market Orientation and Organizational Performance is Innovation a Missing Link. So you're actually identifying the missing link. Okay. What they found was companies who were market oriented, their performance was very good. But after a while, they realized it is not market orientation that leads to performance. Something happens in between. Market oriented companies are innovation oriented. That is why the performance is good. So now in this model, this is no longer important. This is the most important. Without this, it will not link. Okay? That's why we have this kind of identifying the mechanism. Huh? Okay. So if you look at the how do you develop a mediation model, usually you have independent to dependent. This is needed. Independent to dependent, the link must be strong and consistent. Okay? Then you see a literature between store image and satisfaction. This is the second stream of literature. Huh? And then the third stream of literature is satisfaction to your store loyalty. Okay? So now you are putting them together. This is called an integrated model. So your contribution is putting these 3 literature together. Okay. If another person has already tested all 3 together, you don't get a contribution. Okay. The originality comes from the combination, remember? If this 1, 2, 3 already tested before, you are only retesting. It is called replication. Replication does not warrant a PhD. Okay? That's why the linkage is like that. You have to develop. Huh? Okay, if you see at the top here, I put T1, T2, T3, right? Okay. This is data collection timing. You must collect the same data from the same person at time 1, time 2, time 3. This one happened before you go to the store. Before you go to the store, you see advertisement and so on. Your friend tell you, oh, this store is very cheap, right? That is before. This will happen when you go to the store. This will happen after you go to the store. So that's a time 1, time 2, time 3. Yeah? But most of us are collecting data time 1, time 1, time 1. including me lah. Gelak, okay, smiling, right? Yes. But at the PhD level, because your examiners are also at your level, right? So okay lah. Okay. But if you go to publication, many papers are being just rejected by the editors. Okay. For this reason alone, because it's cross-section. Everything is at the same time. No? So you need to think about this. If you don't want to collect 3 times, what they suggest is these 2 variables you collect at the same time. This variable you have a lag. This collect a bit later from the same person. So these are some changes happening. So when we do mediation, we have some certain terms, right? Direct effect, indirect effect, and total effect. So when you regress your independent to the dependent without the mediator, we call it C. This is total effect. So this total effect will be decomposed into direct and indirect. The direct effect is this one, C prime. Your indirect effect is A times B. A times B, yeah? So you see here, total effect is C. C is now decomposed into direct and indirect effect. This is the way the software decomposes your mediation. All the software. Okay, so this is Barron and Kenny method. So if you are doing Barron and Kenny method, independent, mediator, dependent. First, you need to test independent to dependent, right? Okay, if you're independent to dependent, not significant, what happens? That's the end of your PhD. Okay? Because according to Barron and Kenny, if you're independent to dependent, not significant, cannot proceed to step number 2.
Yeah.
That's Barron and Kenny. But now this is no longer required. This testing is no longer required, but the literature must show that IV leads to DV. Okay? Then we have step number 2, X to M, right? This one also must be significant. M to Y must be significant. Then only you have step number 4. So we compare step number 1 and step number 4. We will decide whether we have full mediation or partial mediation. This was many years ago. Now these are no longer accepted in good journals. Okay, the reason is because of this. Okay, when we draw this model, how many models do we have here? 1 model, right? But you didn't test this model, right? You didn't test this model. You tested model 1, you tested model 2, you tested model 3, and model 4. When you run multiple times, you run into a problem called type 1 error. You find some mediation when there's no mediation at all. So that is why they don't accept this testing procedure at all. And also this test doesn't give you p value, t value. It only gives you full and partial mediation based on step 1 and step 4. Okay? So now we also have another method called Sobel test. I actually used this in one of my paper in 2011. But when I went to the workshop with Ringler, he was happily telling me this is not acceptable. But I already published in an SSCI journal in June. And in November, he was telling me this is not correct. Okay? Why? It's because of this. When you do mediation, this is your indirect effect, right? The indirect effect is not normal. Okay? That's why we need to do a procedure called bootstrapping. Okay? This is where these 2 guys came in, Pritt and Hayes. 2004 and 2008, they wrote 2 papers, simple mediation and multiple mediation. Both these papers were very technical. Many people couldn't understand. Okay? But in 2009, this guy called Andrew Hayes, he wrote this paper. Can you see the title of the paper? You Barron and Kenny, right? Suddenly you see a title beyond Barron and Kenny. Mata terbeliak, kan? Okay. Now you will observe, right? So this paper actually changed the equation. Okay. And then in 2010, this guy, Zhao and all wrote another paper. Title is Reconsidering. Okay. Beyond, right? One is beyond, the other one is reconsidering. These 2 papers change the equation. Now everybody was reading. So they realized actually there's something wrong with the testing procedure. The process is still the same, but the testing part no more 1, 2, 3, 4. We run them all together. And you must also remember, Barron and Kenny developed the paper in 1986. So they actually wrote the paper maybe in 1982, 1983. It took 2 to 3 years to get the paper published. At that time, we didn't have structural equation modeling. We only had SPFF. That's why that was very popular back then. But now with structural equation modeling, we can actually test them all together. So that's why they are criticizing it. Huh? Okay, the other, in this paper is the one, this one. So you are actually very lucky people. The independent to dependent not significant. Remember? That's the end of your PhD. They said no. This is not required anymore. Zao and all. So the IB to DV no need to be significant. Still can go ahead. Still can go ahead. This they explain theoretically. Because when you develop a model, you already say IB to DV, right? Already have theory, already have literature. So testing maybe it's not significant, doesn't matter. We can still proceed. Okay, so this is the book written by Andrew Hayes, which is the second edition. So in previously we had to use this procedure called process. Process, right? So if you have to do moderated mediation and so on, we need to use this add-on in SPSS called process. Okay, but now we can do them directly in SmartPLS. No need to use process. Okay, so this is one of the questions many PhD students email to this guy called Andrew Hayes. So he has a website. He has a frequently asked question. Okay, so this is one of the questions. My advisor tells me I should use the Barron Kenny strategy for assessing mediation. But my reading of the literature tells me this is the recommended usage. What should I do? And his reply very good. You have counted on an advisor for guidance and support. Now listen the favor. All but the most stubborn advisors are open to new ideas. Many are too busy or just don't care enough to stay informed on recent development. Give him or her a copy of the relevant literature or a copy of my book and make your case. Try my background Barron Kenny paper for a start. Very good advice, right? You're gonna highlight. No? I always tell my student, you make a copy of the paper, push under the door and run away. Hopefully he or she will pick up and read. So this is what he says. So no more the method. Okay, previously we also had this problem. This must be significant. This must be significant before we can do mediation, right? This is also no longer required. No longer. Sometimes A significant, B not significant, still can happen mediation. Okay. So in 2000, in 2010, when I went to Philadelphia to meet this guy Andrew Hayes, 2013, I was like you student, so I actually draw the model. Independent to mediator, significant, mediator to dependent, not significant. Can I test for mediation? His reply was, this is so Barron and Kenny. So he's saying you're still following Barron and Kenny. No requirement. A significant, B significant is not a requirement. A times B must be significant. Okay, just test the A times B. So now the test is all A times B only. Indirect. Okay, indirect. Yeah. Okay, this full and partial mediation is also no longer acceptable. Hopefully you already know. It says full and partial mediation are outdated 20th century concept that have no place in 21st century mediation. You can see how harsh he is. During the workshop, he's very vocal. He doesn't like Barron Kenny at all. So that's part of his time. Okay, for starting mediation in SmartPLS, we have two methods. One is like this. How many of you do this? Independent, mediator, dependent. You don't have an arrow from IB to DB. How many of you do this? The rest all you have one more arrow here.
Yeah.
Because you're supervisor. The white hat person. Not required. Okay, if you want to do also you can. You have additional hypothesis. But this arrow already transferred many times before, right? Because your requirement is you must have IB to DV. So why are you retesting again? An addition. So if you have 5 hypotheses here, 5 variables here, we need 5 more hypotheses, remember? Like what is new is your mediation, right? We can also focus on this. In this model, we have 3 hypotheses. If we have a direct arrow, becomes 4. 1, 2, 3, and then mediation. 4 hypotheses. If you don't have the direct, it's 3. Okay? So you can decide. Okay, for mediation, how many of you do hypothesis 1? How many of you do hypothesis number 2? Okay, dulu skinny dan selamanya. And this I was doing in the 1990s. Now I do this. Okay. Okay. Here positive. Here positive, right? Positive time positive. You say I don't know. Correct? Positive, positive. Positive time positive. I don't know. Why is that? Positive time positive must be positive, right? So we can actually hypothesize the direction, right? If this is positive, this is negative. Positive time negative will be negatively mediated. We can. So this is the one now being written in many journal articles. So you can write direction. This is non-directional. This is directional. That's a choice. Yeah.
It is a separate,
Yeah.
it gives direction.
2020, this paper published. So now a lot of papers are using positively mediate or negatively mediate. You can. Why is because when you take A times B, right, the value goes down. It may be significant at one tail, not significant at two tail. One tail, two tail. Okay, so this is the reporting method and we have the effect size. So now mediation also we have effect size, the numbers are not the same. Okay, yeah, any question? Okay, for now we have to calculate mediation effect size manually. We don't have output from the software. Okay, so we will run this mediation. So we will use the same data. So we will just edit the data because we don't have so much time. Okay, can you go back to the model just now we had? Okay, we will remove the second order. We don't need the second order. Okay, this is your second order, right? We just remove data. And then can you move this a bit to the right now? So we will go back to the original. We want to add one more variable called continuance to the right now. Okay. If you scroll down, you will have con 1, 2, 3, right? Can you see con 1, 2, 3? This is called continuance. Okay, so when we draw this model, how many mediators do we have? How many mediators do we have?
One.
One. How many mediation do we have? Mediation is 3. Okay, mediator is 1. Okay, mediator is 1. This one. Okay. This is the common mediation model management. Okay. If you have 2 mediators at the same level, they are called parallel mediators. This way, same level. Okay, 2 mediators. But you can also have mediators like this. 2 mediators in between ID and DD. They become serial mediator. Serial mediation. That's the only change. Parallel and serial. This one is the simple mediation. 3 mediator. So when we do this, the direct relationship we already tested before, right? We will have 1 mediation here, 2 mediation here, 3 mediation here. When you draw models like this, the software will automatically calculate for you 3 indirect effects. Automatically, whether you want to interpret or not, you must write the hypothesis first. Then only you look at the indirect effect. If you don't write the hypothesis, no need to look at the indirect effect. Okay? You write H1, H2, H3, H4, right? No indirect effect. If you have mediation, you have to write 3 more hypotheses, 5, 6, and 7. Then only go ahead and test.
Can we combine 3 to become high?
No.
Probability.
You combine 3 means 1 significant, 2 not significant. What do you say? Difficult, right? Right, separate hypothesis. Huh? Then you can say which hypothesis supported, which hypothesis not supported. That's why we need to be clear. Huh? Okay, so if you go to if you open your full report, go to specific indirect effect. Can you see here? They already give you the indirect effects. 1, 2, 3. See? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are already calculated for you. Huh? If you have mediation, then only you run bootstrapping to test this. If not, we already answered the 1, 2, 3, 4. No need to run bootstrapping for mediation. Huh? This is where we need to decide. So when you run the bootstrapping, if your hypothesis is mediated only, you run two-tail. Okay? Mediated by something, right? That is two-tail. If you have positively mediate or negatively mediate, you run one-tail. That's the choice you need to make. Okay? From your hypothesis. Huh? So here we will run the two-tail first. Huh? So then, okay, when you run calculate bootstrapping, okay, here we will stick to two-tail because most of you are still doing two-tail, right? Okay. The values all will not change, only the p value will change. They will times 2. Okay. One tail means you divide by half, p value times, they will times 2. Yeah? So when we do this, we are testing two tail. Okay. 1.96 return on. Okay. Let's start calculation. Start calculation. So this is the direct relationship they will give you. So we are not interested in the direct relationship. We want to look at the indirectness. We want to look at the indirect. Can you open the full report? Just now we look at this one, right? Part coefficient. These are direct relationship. Can you go to this one? Specific indirect effect. Specific indirect effect. Okay, when you click the specific indirect effect, what will happen is they give you this result, right? Can you see the result? Okay, how many significant?
One.
Okay, only one, okay, because this is 0.078, this is 0.072. If it's one tail, both of them are significant. So you divide by half. Okay, this one not significant. Okay, and now look at your confidence interval bias correction. Okay, the lower limit is positive, upper limit is positive, right? Okay, this one positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, because it's two tails. If you run one tail, maybe it will be positive, positive, or negative, negative. Okay, so that is why we need to decide whether you want to run one tail or two tail. Okay. If the hypothesis is mediated only, then you do two tail. Positively mediate or negatively mediate, do one tail. Any question?
Which is the result data? Yeah.
This is the original result. This is the confidence interval.
Okay.
Both. Lower limit, upper limit. Remember, we need the lower limit, upper limit.
Right.
Positive, positive, okay. Negative, positive, not good. Because this is two tails. If you run this with one tail, both will be significant. Okay, so that's why we need to decide which one you want to do. One tail or two tail.
So we need to report data based on this.
See, you report the first table, including this one.
Oh, only one thing. Combined together.
No, lower limit and upper limit. We need to report, right? Just now we reported the one tail one is 5%, 95%. This is two tail. Okay, the third thing we will report is the effect size. So we already have the numbers here. Can you see here? 0.316, 0.062 minus, and 0.045. Okay, these are the three indirect effects we have. To calculate the effect size, I've given you a calculator here. In the folder that I gave you, you have this calculator called effect size calculator. At the bottom, can you see here? mediation effect size calculator. Open this one. Okay. Once you open this one you don't have to change anything. You only key in the numbers here. It's not the three numbers, remember? When you key in here, they will calculate for you this effect size. This is the effect size that you will report. And they will also tell you small, medium, or large. Okay. So the number is 0.316, right? Okay, I put here 0.316, right? This is medium effect. Okay. Medium effect now. Okay. Next one is minus, right? Minus 0.062. Okay, no effect, right? That means the mediation is not working. Then we have the third one, which is 0.045. Also, not. So it is confirming, right? The first one is only selling. So that's why we need to report now the V square in your report. Okay. Any question on the report?
Positive will confirm the medications. There's a graduating effect.
It is one tail.
It's one.
Now it's two tail. So we will follow the result. You will conclude not significant. Any questions on the mediation? Okay, for mediation, there's lots of changes. Many journals are now much more stricter for mediation, especially the data collection. The way you collect data. Okay. Yeah.
Because we actually put our hypothesis is like whatever mediator positively mediate whatever relationship, right? If let's say the second one, our standard data is negative, would it be effect?
If you say positively mediate, but you get a negative, right? Not supported, lah.
No, it's
Still the same. You look at the sign, But if you say mediated only, positive also okay, negative also okay. Yeah? And that's why we need to decide.
So in this case, Prof, you're talking about correctional, right? Which indicate as positive mediations. So shouldn't we be using one Q instead of two Q?
If your hypothesis is directional, then you do that. Okay, again, when we do the test, you have to write your hypothesis first. Then only decide whether it's two tail or one tail. If you say it's mediated only, it is two tail. Positively mediate or negatively mediate is one tail. That's how we decide which one you want to test against. Most of my students are testing everything one tail. Direct effect also one tail, mediation also one tail, moderation also one tail. All my students follow me, the hypothesis statement. So we run one time. For those who have direct relationship, positive, negative, and your mediation is mediated by, you have to run two times. Because your direct relationship is one tail, your mediation is two tail. Then you have to run two times for direct effect, one tail, for indirect effect, two tail. Because your confidence interval all will change. Okay? All will change, right? Okay.
Just for the mediation effect, right? So we just add into that.
The last column.
The last column.
The V square, right? You put in the last column. Okay. So now we can report all in one table. Previously, I reported the direct and moderation in one table. Mediation, I separated them because I don't have effect size.
Now we report everything.
Can report in one table. I report now all in one table. Because I also have effect size for mediation. I have effect size for moderation. I also have effect size for direct. So all work table were complete. Previously, the effect size for mediation was empty. Many reviewers asked, how come this is empty? That's why I separated the table. Right? Okay. So next, we want to look at model of mediation. Anybody has a mediation? Nobody has a mediation. A moderation. Anybody moderation? No? Nobody has moderation?
Yes.
Okay, moderation is like this. You have an independent dependent. We have an arrow pointed on the arrow, right? This is called moderation. We have two types of moderation. One is called observe, The other one is called unobserved. Unobserved means when you collect data, you don't have a moderation. But after collecting the data, you suspect there is some moderation. We can run an analysis called segmentation. Okay. In this software, we have this where you can run. It is called Phoenix. This one. This one. If you run this analysis, they will identify how many possible groups you have in your data. Okay? But they don't tell you which are the groups. You need to look at your data and decide how you want to separate your groups. Sometimes you can separate them male and female. You can also separate them into involvement, low involvement, high involvement. Also can. Okay? Then only you run multi-group analysis. Okay. Gita's question. No? Okay. Multi-group analysis is also moderation. But the moderator is moderating all relationships. And usually multi-group analysis, the moderator is a categorical variable. Gender, country, okay, that kind of variable. For continuous variable, usually what you will do is you categorize them into low and high. Many journals don't accept. They are saying you are doing artificial dichotomization. Okay, that's the term they use. So you should run them like this. Okay, this is a 2026 paper. Yesterday I was telling you Xiao Wenlong, right? He's from Taiwan. So he has a paper published in 2026. This is a journal called International Journal of Information Management. This journal has an impact factor of 27. 27, the highest impact factor journal in my area. Okay. So this is a very, very good journal. So if you want to try, you can try this journal. Some of my students submitted today, submit tomorrow. Thank you very much. Okay. That's rejected.
What's the name again?
International Journal of Information Management.
What's the name?
Yeah?
The name.
Xiao Wenlong.
Xiao
Wenlong. Okay. Many of my students also very excited when I say 27, right? They also start submitting. Today submit, tomorrow. Thank you very much for submitting. Okay, maybe you want to try and read French journal. I had some papers many years ago. So this is a typical journal now, because of the impact factor. Okay, so when you do moderation, you are drawing like this, right? Dependent moderator. What you are saying is now your population is no longer homogeneous. Do you understand? When you draw your model, independent to dependent, you draw like this, right? You are saying the relationship works for everybody. There is no group in your data. Okay? Now I introduce a moderator here. Let's say gender, right? When we introduce gender, you are saying now I don't have a homogeneous group. No? I have a heterogeneous group. The relationship is different for male compared to female. Then only we introduce the moderator. That's the idea of the moderator. So the moderator can be categorical, gender, can also be continuous. But if you see in the literature now, nobody looks at categorical moderator anymore. That was done in the 70s, 80s. Now most of them are looking at continuous moderator.
Does that make it less important?
No, because they have already tested this gender, marital status, those kind of variables in the past. So they are saying we now control those variables. Now we are looking at other variables. Like in my area called technology adoption. Many people have started looking at variables like personality traits. Okay, one of the traits they like to look at is called narcissism. You know, before you eat, you take photo. I have a PhD student like that. Okay, probably take photo. Okay, now you can eat. Dia, lepas tu yang pergi dekat apa in the mountain there, at the side there, they take photo, they jump through the mountain. Many people die taking selfie, don't know? They want to show it's actually a disorder, we call it. So now they are looking at personality as a moderator variable in technology adoption. Okay, so those kind of variables we are introducing. So what we are saying, this will change the relationship. Okay, so when we do moderation, they have these two reasons. One is changing the direction. The other one is changing the strength. Okay, what is meant by changing the direction and strength? Like, huh? Okay, when you have satisfaction and commitment, what is the relationship between satisfaction and commitment? Positive or negative? Positive, right? Satisfaction go up, commitment go up, right? But if you see here straight line, right? It tells you no relationship. Okay, this may happen because you have a third variable you have not identified. So when you identify the third variable, the direction changes. Example, we introduce like this, right? POS, perceived organizational support. For those with high perceived organizational support is positive, this is negative. Without this third variable, there is no relationship. So now you are identifying the variable that changes the relationship. But most of the time we don't do this. In our area, we are actually identifying the strength. See here we have two lines, right? Okay, this one, the strength is the same, the gradient. Huh? But what we are trying to do is something like this. Which one is stronger? Okay. So when you write hypothesis later, you have to also identify this in your hypothesis. Okay. So for hypothesis statement, like this, right? If you have a model like this, many people are still writing like this, right? Satisfaction to loyalty moderated by email. So, tak payah tulis pun saya tahu. The model also tells me that lah. Huh? But when you introduce a moderator, you are having an argument saying the moderator changes the original relationship. You need to write the direction, how it changes. Okay, so you have this paper by Dawson, right? He says, yeah, this is the question. Should I hypothesize the form of an interaction in advance? Yes. Not only the existence of interaction effect be predicted, but also its form. In particular, whether a moderator increases or decreases the association between two other variables should be specified as part of the case diagram. This is what this guy is saying. Huh? So you need to write this hypothesis upfront. Okay, how you can write them is like this. Huh? If you have a continuous moderator, you write satisfaction loyalty is will be stronger when switching cost is high. This is directional. Okay. Categorical moderator, positive relationship between satisfaction loyalty will be stronger for male compared to female. Okay. Also directional. One is stronger, the other one is weaker. Huh? The one we don't write is this one, the cross line. Okay. We don't write this one. Huh? We write number 1 or number 2. So if you have a moderator, you need to write number 1 or number 2, depending whether it's categorical or continuous. Big 5 very difficult because Big 5 you can have overall personality. But how do you classify them is low and high? What is it measuring? But if you have narcissism, right? You can say low narcissistic and high narcissistic. Most of them look at one, not all together. We can also use those kind of variables. Okay, so after you run your analysis, it is significant, you need to do the plot. Okay, the software gives you the plot, but very ugly, when you copy and paste. You need to use Excel template through the drawing. So I can show you how it is done. Okay, for testing moderation, we have been using like this in SmartPLS 3. How many of you have done SmartPLS 3? Only just me. The SmartPLS 3, if you have 5 independent, 1 moderator, right? You have to interact 5 times manually. Now no need, just point on the arrow. So this was what we were doing in 3. Now with 4, we just point on the arrow. That's not somebody asked dotted arrow. He was asking, yeah. This is the dotted arrow in the software. It is for moderation. Okay, so this is how you do the moderation. Okay, as long as this arrow is significant, you have moderation. This arrow not significant, no moderation. That's how we can do moderation. Okay, these are some templates I've already downloaded for you. Okay, for moderation, these are some issues given by Alvinis. This is one of the ones we were talking about. Gita. Artificial dichotomization. This is where you have a continuous variable. You classify them into low and high. This is not recommended as. Okay. One of my co-authors from University Malaya, she had a variable called continuous variable, but she categorized them into low and high because she wants to do multi-group analysis. Okay, Then I asked her, why are you doing this? She said, when we run multi-group analysis, it looks very chunky. That's the only reason. Okay. So we submitted to a journal called Internet Research. We had to do 5 revision and 3 years just because of that problem. The reviewer didn't want to let go. He said, you have a continuous moderator. Why did you classify? My co-author don't want to let go. Still mati-mati you want to do. So we do 1 revision, 2 revision, 3 revision, 4 revision, 5 revision. And then the reviewer decided, okay, I'll let you go. And with 2 publish. But I told her already, this is one of the problems with continuous wherever you want to categorize. I don't do that. You need to run the continuous moderator. Okay. And also sample size. If you do categorical moderator, right? Your moderators 2 group, you need to have sample size times 2. Understand? When we do G power, right? We need 185, let's say. Now you need to collect 185 times 2. Because 1 group for male, 1 group for female. Because you're running the model separately. The model for male, the model for female. Then only we can do comparison. Sample size requirement goes up. Okay. The other problem with multi-group analysis is we have a step called invariance analysis. Okay. The last PLS conference in Malacca, we were doing an advanced workshop. Safted was teaching us how to do multi-group analysis. We started with 5 countries as a moderator. Finally, we ended up with 2 countries. By the time we delete items, we don't have many items. Okay. So that's one of the challenges with moderating multi-group. Okay. These are the literature which I've already summarized. This is the most recent one by Xiao Dongwen, 2026. Okay. So for moderation, we will use the same data set. Go back to the data set. So for this research called chatbot, I already showed you this morning also. One of my PhD students is actually looking at this. Okay? And she has a variable called need for human interaction. Okay? Need for human interaction. This is people who are older, right? You like to go to the bank and talk to the teller. I do that in my campus. We have a CIMB bank. So actually, when I want to do banking, I walk to the bank and then talk to the clerks. They will do everything for me. So I'm very happy to go there. For a while, we can chat with the person. Release stress. You don't do that? I do that. I carry my passport and go to the bank. And when I walk in, only they call me, Prof, come. So I will go, because I'm a preferred customer, right? Okay. So I skip the queue and then I chat with them. They will talk about family, whatever. So I relieve stress for a while, then I go back. That's what I do. I don't use internet banking. My wife does the internet banking for me. My wife is the banker. Short of money only, she will message me. Then I go to the bank, transfer. That's the system we have. If you have a moderator, what it tells you is, although satisfaction is hard, satisfaction continuous is strong, we have a moderator, right? Need for human interaction. For those who are older, they like to do a face-to-face banking. Then this relationship will be weaker. Okay? So that's why we will have another variable. So we take this variable. Okay, if you scroll down, here we have a variable for, we need to change the Harisana. Need for human interaction. Can you see? NFISP5. Okay, we pull it down here. And we will point here. Okay, we will point it on the arrow. And then the software will run.
What's NFISC?
A need for human interaction. This is continuous. Okay, this is the model we are testing, right? Independent variable to the dependent variable, and then your moderator, and then the interaction. We don't have an arrow from here to here, you see? But the software will calculate for you. The software will calculate for you. Okay, before we run the model, can you run the algorithm? So some of the item doesn't work very well. Okay, you see here we have two items not so good, right? This one and this one. Okay, so you need to delete this item first. Then you see whether you need to delete this one. Can you see this? NFSI SE number 1, right? Loading not so good, right? Just delete this, huh? Okay, we will delete this, huh? Okay. This item we will delete, huh? This item we will delete, and we will delete this, huh? Okay. These are the two items we need to delete because ADE is not very good. Okay. Now these three items okay, right? Then only we can start interpreting. Okay. 5 items, 2 items not so good. We delete. Okay. And this one more item. Okay. So out of the 6 items, we need to delete 2 items, right? Okay. Now the model works. Huh? So we have a minus 0.122, right? When you get a minus sign means it will weaken the relationship. Okay, it will weaken the relationship. Positive sign means it strengthen the relationship. Okay, so if you look at this number, we don't know whether they are significant or not. But you can actually open your full report. You can see your full report. Full report. Okay. When you open your full report, you have this simple slope analysis. Can you see the simple slope analysis? They have 3 lines, right? Okay. The first line is the +1, right? +1 is at the high level, -1 is the low level. The middle one we can hide. This one. You get that? No, you have to get it. You have to add the item number 6. That's the item number 6. Number 6. Number 6. Open full report, right? Open full report. Okay. When you run good setting, you know whether it's significant or not. But the algorithm will give you the simple slope. Okay. Even algorithm. Okay. Okay, simple slope analysis. Simple. You write algorithm. How who's writing? Algorithm. Calculate algorithms. So, we have 3 lines, right? Okay, we have 3 lines, right? You see?
Yeah.
Okay, the center line is at the average. Yeah? This one we don't need. Just untick. Yes, untick here. They will disappear. Okay. Now we have 2 lines running, right? Okay. Okay, +1 and -1, right? This is at the high level, this is at the low level. So which one is stronger? We can, if you're not sure, you can click here. This is at the high level, this is at the low level. Okay, so the one stronger is at the low level, right?
Yeah.
Okay, these are younger people, who don't need the human interaction. The older people at the top, right? They need higher interaction, right? That's why it's weaker. The relationship is weaker. This is what we are trying to do in moderation. So this plot is the one you need to show. But the problem is it's not very sharp. Huh? Can you copy this? Copy that. Can copy that. Huh? Okay, if you copy this chart and then export, we open our Word file and paste. We see here you will get drawing like this, which is very not sharp, right? Most journal won't publish. Okay? Most journal won't publish this. For that, we need to do manual. How do we do the manual? Is like this. Okay, in your software, I will need the fast coefficient. Can you see this one? Satisfaction to continuous, right? What is the value of satisfaction to continuous? Okay, you see here? 0.384, right? Yes. We need to write here 0.384. And then this one is 0.226. Okay. It is minus 0.125. These are the three numbers we need. Then only we can do plot. You already know independent variables, moderator variables, interaction variables. Yes? Okay. 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 With your folder, we have this Excel template. When you see this Excel template, I downloaded from Jeremy Dawson. We have two plots, right? One is the continuous and categorical. Your moderator is continuous or categorical? Continuous, right? So you open the second. The second one. Okay. The first one is for categorical moderator. Male, female, married, single. That's first one. We are doing second one. Okay. This one. Continuous, right? So when you open this continuous, they give you a plot already drawn for you, right? Can you see? This is a template. Okay, this is a template. If you open the template, continuous moderator. They ask for the independent variable name, right? Independent variable is satisfaction. So in typing satisfaction, this will change. Okay. Moderator is NFISE, right? This will come low and high. Yeah? And then here you can double click and change. Yeah? Continuous. Okay, that's how you label. First variable here, independent variable is satisfaction, right? Second variable is NFISE. If you see here, it is already labeled here, low, high. Low, high. Dependent variable low, high. Moderator variable low, high. Here you have to double click and then change the name. This is continuous. This is the model. This is the model. Okay. We double click here and we change it to continuous. Okay, after you have done that, these are the three numbers we need. Okay. This is the independent variable, this is the moderator variable, this is the interaction. Just key in the number, they will plot for you. Okay, this is the same thing you can. Okay, your independent variable 0.384, moderator is 0.2, and the third one is 0 minus. Okay, you get the same drawing, right? What you got that? But this one is already labeled for you nicely. Easier to interpret. Okay, so this is the one you see in all journal articles, NTC. Okay, the journal article you get this. Okay, this is the one you need to plot on your own. The numbers. from your drawing, no? Yes.
You see it.
Your drawing will only show you the ID and DB.
It is.
This one, same this one and this one. If you want, you can also do this. And now you get all the numbers. Correct? This one and this one. Huh? Okay. And then only we can do this plot. Huh? Okay. You draw also, you get the same number. Without drawing also same number. And that's why you can draw. So we have this number, right? 1, 2, and 3. Independent, moderator, and interaction. Do you get that? Huh? Okay. So that is how you can do the analysis. Huh? Okay. For publication purposes, you can actually try with one independent, one mediator, one dependent also. And there are some journals which accept. Huh? Okay. There's one paper I have co-wrote with my work. Huh? Okay. In a folder called Ramaya articles. Huh? In this first folder, Ramaya articles, PLS articles, right? This is one of my seniors in the university. Yeah? So we wrote this paper together. She was 1 year my senior. Her name is Rachel from UITM Malacca. Okay? So in this model, we have only one independent, one moderator, and one dependent. This is the model we are testing. Employability and mobility. Positive, right? Higher employability, higher mobility. Yeah? In your work-life balance is higher, then the stronger, right? Yeah. One independent, one dependent, one moderator. Huh? Scopus. 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 Huh? So the same thing we draw just now. This is SmartPLS 3. Yeah? We got to read SmartPLS 3. It is SmartPLS 3. Yeah? Very ugly, right? The drawing very ugly. But the same drawing we have here. This is also the done. Okay, so when you are writing your paper, you must have some understanding of the modeling. So here we are saying many studies look at employability and mobility, but they didn't look at work-life balance. So we want to see how the work-life balance changes the relationship. Can you see the model? Very nice, right? For those with low work-life balance, there's no correlation between this and this. It's a flat line. Okay? For those with high work-life balance, the relationship is positive. So it means no relationship. Even you're employable, you don't move. Yeah. That means here we are looking at employability, right? Although you're highly employable, you don't move. Your mobility is very low. Okay? So you're highly employable, but you don't move because your work-life balance is low. Now you see, right? Okay. Now this is what you found. Okay, you're working in PwC, yeah? Okay. Even in academic line also sometimes can be stressful. Okay. They thought life is easy. I say you come, then you'll know. Grass is always greener on the other side, remember? Before you come in, you always think very nice. So when you come into the system, you also know it's not so easy, right? Like many people don't believe I have 1,000 students. When I tell them the eyes like, they always tell me, oh, I have a very large class. Then I ask them how many students? 70 students. Hello. 70 students for us is like very small class. We have 700 students, right? Okay. Then only we consider big class lah. So because when I first started in 1990, I already have 300, 400 students. So to me, it's like a simple thing lah. So I have no problem with large classes. So that's why I don't feel stressed. But I have younger colleagues, 70 students also, they feel very stressed. Younger ones. Okay? They want smaller class. They want to teach one semester, one paper. But then my work-life balance is good, no? Our dean having headache with the younger ones. She always tell, look at your professor. He has so many students, he has so many class. With the student also, he's doing everything, right? Why are you stressed? So, but different generation lah. Different generation. If you tell them, they become very upset, right? They become very upset. They say, oh, cannot compare. My kids also same. Okay. Huh? No. Okay, that's my experience with my colleagues. Because I started in 1990, I'm already retired, right? I can see the change in the culture. The younger colleagues, they are not in the office at all. All left already. Okay. Also it's because it's free lah. I just mean, because the workshop is free and paid, so different way lah. Outline. Okay. So this is a common problem I see even in the public university. But in private university like Sunway, there's a person who monitor. There's a person from the HR who will sit, and then take attendance. You are not, tomorrow they send you. Really? I do workshop in Sunway, right? There's a HR person who sit in the class to see how many is leaving. Really? I'm telling you. Really? Yeah? Sunday they do that. Okay? There's a person who monitors. Because they think you are paying, you are still paying, remember? Although it's free, the university is paying, remember? They still need to monitor. Government university don't care. They just pay and then forget about it. I go to Sabah, 8:30 I'm in the lecture hall. 9:30 they are walking in. And then I was asking them, how come I'm waiting? They said, di sini macam ni lah. I get very stressed. I start my classes on time. I always try to be on time. 9 o'clock start and then because people are paid, remember? Okay, so we have to be professional. Whatever you do. Okay, but thank you very much for staying with me so until the end of the day. Usually, the younger ones who do PhD, they will stay. Okay, when I do workshop outside, right? They are paying, right? They will stay. Even usually my classes don't finish at 5. When I do my online one also, I finish about 5:36, and they are all there asking questions because they're paying. Yeah. They come earlier than me and go back later than me. Okay. You can see, right? Most of the time I finish later than 5 lah. Okay. So, okay. If you have any other questions about what we discussed today, the last 2 days, you can also message me. I'm most of the time I'm available on the Facebook Messenger and also the WhatsApp group. Are you on my WhatsApp group, right? Now ask for articles. She's on my group. Sometimes I tell them, don't ask too many papers lah. One paper at a time. Okay, Dr. Jasmine, thank you very much for staying with me until the end of the workshop. If you have any questions or any query, you can message me. Okay? Then I will. Okay. I will see you again in another.
What the slide that's the exercise one, right?
That's the same in the first part. Already in the first part. I just calculated. It's the same. I already said in the folder, in that folder.
Because I see the one, what is it? Yes, she's here. That's okay, what size is my? Okay, she was people.
No. My attendance.
Last year one. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I sent the link to Dr. Jasmine. She was there. The link, yeah.
Oh, it's a visual. Before. Yes, yes. Okay, I don't know what I think. You pass to us, this one? Okay, okay. I will send to